So usually when a new plugin is released, I get a few messages from people asking me if I can review it or snake oil it or however you want to call it. However, with this plugin, I got so many messages that I couldn't ignore it anymore. So let's take a look at God Particle. Now this plugin is developed by Jason Joshua, or at least I think plugin development takes more than one person. I don't know. But he's a pretty accomplished engineer, as we can see from all the people he worked with. He does have a lot of experience, and I'm not really going to comment on him or whatever because my channel is about looking at products, not at people. So let's scroll ahead to the product then. This is it. And the first thing I thought when I saw this product was, wow, is there also a hardware unit available? Because what I was thinking was, hey, they will do software and hardware because it really looks as a hardware unit. But apparently it's only software. So it's a non-existing hardware unit which they are emulating in software, or they've made software about a non-existing hardware unit. I've never understood that, and I probably will never understand it. But yeah, this is it. Discover the God Particle. We can listen to it in bypass, active and limiter. So let's do that. Will this get me copyright flagged? I hope not. Okay. Yeah. Of course, but that's just louder. Yeah. Everybody can sound better like that. So I have just measured the difference between active and limiter in LUFS, and on active I've had -16 and on a limiter I had -11, 11.6. So there's a huge loudness difference in these two demos, and honestly, if you are selling this to consumers, I can understand that you are tricking the mind a little bit. But I think you're selling this to professional audio engineers. And apart from a huge portion of them hearing the volume difference, I also think it's just not necessary. Just don't do it. Just give us equal loudness comparisons. Definitely if we need to make a purchase decision or whatever. Like, why? You could easily show off the capabilities of the limiter without a gain improvement, gain up, whatever. Really weird and unnecessary. Stay on the target. Precise gain staging is a vital ingredient of well-engineered and well-mixed records. Yes, it is. That was what I was just talking about. Using Jason's input and gain reduction targets, you can rest assured your mix will be both dynamic and loud with a well-balanced EQ response. These little boxes here, what I think they mean is that that's the ideal level or ideal gain to have. And quite honestly, I like that idea of, showing where the sweet spot is. I've been experimenting a lot with gain levels in the analog domain, and there's a huge difference in gain levels in how your gear responds. I think it's the same with DSP. But on the other hand, if you support that, make a comparison on the same level. I mean, don't say one thing and do the other. All right, so let's close the website and let's take a look at the actual product, because that is what it is about. So this is it. This is the whole UI. So we've got input gain, we've got high, mid, low. I don't see a frequency selection here, but I don't think it's actually meant as an EQ. I think this is more for balancing the multi-band oppressor or whatever is in here. And we've got something over here. I think that's the limiter output. And of course, we've got all the gain knobs here. We also have a beautiful front plate here, which says the God Particle. I don't know. Let's just try out. Let's see how far we can get without a manual. And I'm pretty sure that you know the name of the track that I'm using. So let's first gain it. On the beat, of course. So we're a bit low now. So let's gain it up a bit. I think we need to have something like this. Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, it says over here that it's not limiting on the high frequencies. Because there are not enough high frequencies in there or something? I don't know. I think there are enough high frequencies, but this thing thinks there are not. I think. I mean... I think. I don't know. I don't know. Is there a manual in here actually? Before I'm getting all the comments of like, read the manual. Is there a manual? Because... So it does glue pretty well, like... It's a certain sauce it's giving. It's a certain sauciness, spiciness, however you want to call it. A bit of limiting. And we're done, it's mastered. I mean, mastering is not difficult. We're done. See if we can set the output to -1 or 0.1. A little bit lower. I mean, how high do you want to have it? It is distorting now, it's distorting. Badly, actually. I mean... Okay, I want to quickly check the manual because I want to know what I'm doing. How do I use the God particle? Okay. Oh, so what it's for is for release ready exporting. Okay. I would love to see a little bit more measurements in there then. Like, it now shows if you're at the correct gain level on the input and that kind of stuff. But, I mean, how many LUFs am I at? Do I need to export at -0.1, -1, -2, whatever? Do I need to do streaming or not? I mean, the whole mastering field is completely... One part believes in like still uploading loud masters, the other part believes in creating more dynamic masters for streaming. I don't know it anymore. We can go on for this for hours talking about this. And I do think that there are more ways to get things done. I think it's more talking about choices than about talking what the right thing is to do. Because I think both options do have some right and wrongs. I would love to have a little bit more confirmation and that kind of stuff. Like mastering is really the last step before it goes out to the public. So I would get a little bit nervous from this. Maybe for Jason it's not the case because it's his actual master chain that he might have been using for a long time. He has built it himself so he can rely on it. And the same way I have with my master chain. Like I exactly know what I am going to do in the master bus, what the master bus is actually doing when it's on, how I can control it, that kind of stuff. But from an outside perspective or from an outside viewer, things can look a little bit confusing or I would be a bit nervous if this would be my only tool. So here's another one of those sentences, like use the God particle on your master output to get industry-grade volume without distortion and without crushing your dynamic range through overcompression. When I crank up this limiter, I do get distortion, and I can hear that. But when you are looking for the maximum loudness, you are looking for that turning point at where there isn't any distortion and where you're getting the loudness. Or maybe you want to have a little bit of that distortion. But I can imagine that if you are using such a plugin instead of a huge mastering chain or whatever, that you won't have these type of speakers. So how do you know where that sweet spot is? Those types of visual feedback would be handy to have in that case. And that's like not really in here. Like we do have the amount of limiting that we're doing and of course our output level, but our output level says that we're still under the 0 dB full scale. So how do you know that you are on the right spot? And that's a little bit of the confusing part of this plugin. Like I actually think it's a very cool sauce thing, but the intended purpose is not really what I would use it for. I would use this as a part of my mastering chain if I would use it. I don't think I'm going to use it because I like to keep my plugin bundle as small as possible and only essential things in there, only things that I really use on a daily basis and that can do everything that I want. And for me, this is not something that I really need. It is interesting to listen to the sauciness and the spiciness and the sound and the stuff that Jason is making. It's really interesting to hear that, and it's kind of inspiring, but I wouldn't really use it in a production environment. I would more use this, this one time to get a little bit of inspiration and then move on. That's how I would use it. If it would really be for mastering, give us a little bit more in terms of visual feedback. Give us a little bit of help, because this plugin at this price point is really aimed at the people that need that help. Like I can open my analyzer and stuff and like I know exactly where I want to be, where I want my lows to fall, where I want my mids to fall. Where I have that template in my head, but that's because I'm doing this every day. And people that do this every day, they know how they want to master their record. They do not necessarily need such a plugin. They could use it, and I have no problem with professional people using such a plugin if it gives the end result they want. But for the actual target group, the home producer, everybody that wants to sound like the artist that Jason is working with, I think they could use a little bit more help. That this plugin could be better made for that target group. So is this thing snake oil? Difficult to say. From cranking up the amount, like the result that it was giving, like that 3-band compression that it was doing, or I think in my case it was only doing 2 bands because I couldn't get the highs to work or whatever. From cranking it up, I liked that sauciness. Limiter I don't like. I just think it also distorts pretty quickly. But in the end, this is a tool that Jason basically made for himself and is sharing with the rest of the world, if he's using it on all of his mixes. I'm not saying there is no truth in there. I believe what they're saying. But I also know that in the audio industry, there are a lot of people just connecting their name to a product while doing a whole different thing. They don't really practice what they preach. I don't know in this case. Hey, I don't know. But if he made this for himself and is using it on every single track and is now sharing this with the rest of the world, if that's really the story, then he should do that. And the only way for you to figure out if this is a plugin that you would like to use or want to have or whatever, is by simply trying it out. And that's the cool thing of Cradle, because Cradle is distributing this thing. They do have a trial for 5 days, a little bit short, but I think enough time to figure out if you want to buy this plugin. So I'm going to link to the God particle down below, and there you can check it out yourself and then come back to the video and tell me what you think. I'm really interested in hearing what you all think. Maybe we should start like comments with people like, yes, it's snake oil. No, it's not snake oil. Maybe something like that. Let the community decide, because honestly, my opinion is also just an opinion. And that's also the disclosure for this video. I made this video because the community was asking me to make this video. I'm not in contact with Cradle or Jason or whatever, and I'm just running the demo. Now, if you like my independence and want to support it, you can do that by buying something through my affiliate links. I've got Toman over here and Sweetwater over here. And if you go to whitestudio.com/Toman or whitestudio.com/Sweetwater and then buy something in one of those shops, a little bit of your purchase gets kicked back to me. That way you are supporting the channel and you're also getting your favorite gear in return. You're actually not paying anything extra for your support. Really cool. Another way to support the channel is by becoming a member. You can do that on YouTube by clicking the join button or on patreon.com. Content on YouTube and Patreon will be the same. Last way to support me and the whole YouTube platform is watching more videos. So I'll link one of my videos over here, but you are free to watch other people's videos as well. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep pushing and bye bye.